What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. I'm doing a little review on the Sunchaser headlight housings with the Sealed 3 Morimoto Sealed 3 headlight bulb LED. And I must say, the look of these housings are amazing. I'm just going to do a quick little walk around so you guys can get a full idea of what they actually look like. I would say the quality is very, very good, and they fit very well. These items are 3D printed. If some people are wondering about the what type of material they are. So there's a couple things I want to point out with these housings. Sunchaser designed these housings to have a ram air style hole in the middle here, and they're actually on both sides, and it's actually a true style ram air that allows air up into the intake, especially if you have a turbo car like I do. Now you do have to cut your header panel. You got to trim it. Now I will show you here later on in the video how I trimmed my header panel to get these to fit, and it's really not that bad. You do not have to remove the front bumper and the header panel to do trimming. I know in some videos on YouTube that people have taken off the front bumper and the header panel and used a cutoff wheel. I personally used a Dremel with a straight diamond bit. It does make a little bit of a mess, but if you vacuum everything up and you cover up your intake piping or your turbo filter on the front and vacuum out all the plastic shavings up, along with you could use a air compressor if you do have one, and get all the little plastic shavings out, and it makes for an easy trimming job, so you don't have to remove the front bumper and the header panel. Now the trimming only applies to if you get the Sealed 3 low beam only, because the high and low beam actually has a bigger resistor body on the back side, so you will have to do a little more trimming. Now I will say that you probably do not have to remove your front bumper or your header panel to do any trimming on any of the Sealed 3 lights that you choose. So either the high and low beam or the low. I just chose the low beam, as these LEDs that I've seen from other videos that they're exceptionally bright, and I hardly use my high beam anyways when I'm driving around with this car. Now fitment, I got it pretty close. The main thing I was concerned about is lining up with the side markers, and that takes a little time to figure out how to do that, because you have to trim the header panel a certain way so that you don't have your headlight housing either too high or too low. And you're going to have to make either white paint marker marks inside the housing or on the header panel, or some type of marking so you know where to trim your header panel. But as you can see, I got mine pretty close to lined up here. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. Now there are some small gaps. I am actually not concerned with the passenger side gap. There's literally no way around that. even with the side marker bolted all the way in and the housing itself bolted all the way in. There's a small gap in there. It's not tremendous, but I will tell you it's even and straight, which I like. It's not crooked and it's not like a huge gap. I would also like to note here that the inner corner here is great. It fits nice and easy. It tucks in. It doesn't scrape any of the front bumper up here. And it does not touch the hood. But obviously you do have a small gap at the bottom, mainly for the fact that you want to have that gap so that you can line up your side markers all the way down. And same thing on the driver's side here. Now the driver's side, it's a little different. The side marker did line up a lot better than the passenger side, and that's probably due to factory offset. When this vehicle is put together, all my panels on the car are all factory. I'm not sure if they'd ever been removed, the fenders have been removed or not, but I do know on the driver's side at least, it's nice and flush here. Pretty flush up top here, and I'm actually not overly concerned about that. I just didn't want to have the housing either too high or too low. I wanted the bottom to match up very, very closely. And obviously you're gonna have a tiny gap. The stock headlights actually have the same gap, if you didn't already know that. And you can compare with your stock headlights. You can take your housing out, put your stock headlights back in, and you can compare how far of a gap. You can, I mean, if you really want to get technical, you can measure, but I wasn't too concerned about that. I just lined it up with the end side marker here. And same with the driver's side, the interior corner is cut very, very nice. It comes up and underneath the front bumper here and tucks underneath the hood real nice. The Sealed 3 LED headlight fits perfect. It fits like a glove. I mean, you're gonna have a little tiny space around it, but that's so you can fit your headlight in there. Same thing over here. Now, Sunchaser, they do not warrant any water damage or water damage to the headlights themselves. So drive at your own risk if you are driving these with these in the rain. Because I don't know if the Morimoto are actually waterproof. I'd have to look at the warranty and the description of the Sealed 3 lights. I know they have a 5-year warranty on them, which is great. So if anything does happen to them, that you can get a full replacement. Now I did, like I said earlier, I did choose to go with the low beam because these are so exceptionally bright that I don't really use the high beam. Okay, now for the fun part, we're gonna go ahead and turn the lights on and I'll show you how they shine. Although we are during the daytime, these are very, very bright. Now they almost have a little halo to them, depending on what angle you're looking at the lights. Now I still have to do all my adjustments vertically when it gets dark, but this will give you a good idea what your lights look like here. Now I do have LED amber side markers, which look great. I'll give a little distance view on how they look from afar. So we're probably about, I'd say 20 yards maybe, 10, 15, 20. And these things look great. They definitely are very, very bright. LEDs pull low wattage. But these lights are exceptional. I can't wait to see what these look like when it's actually nighttime and I can actually see, opposed to the cheap, crappy reflector style headlights. But there you go, guys. This is what they look like installed. I love them already. Now I will say these are not cheap, so you will have to fork over around 800 bucks for the housings and the sealed 3 beams. But they're definitely worth it, so I can see a lot better at nighttime.